The Howard Gospel Choir of Howard University was once a dream that has grown to become an unstoppable force. New generations of Bison come together semester after semester to stand firmly on the shoulders of visionaries, continuing the rich legacy of academic excellence merged with service to the kingdom of God. From an idea to fruition, the mantra to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ has been unyieldingly held in the spirit within which it was birthed. At the time of its conception, very few saw the need for a gospel choir to exist on a collegiate campus. But in spite of resistance and doubt, the calling for greater and perseverance became the only option. As a result, tenacity was intricately woven into the fabric of HGC's history as a centerpiece of all that the choir would build upon. Students heavily influenced by the atmosphere of the civil rights movement were determined to create their place on campus and unapologetically sang the good news despite anyone's opinion of its relevance. Baptist, Methodist, Episcopal, Seventh-day Adventist, AME, Kojic, Lutheran, Catholic, they all came together on one accord with one goal of lifting up the name of Christ. Students risked their scholarships, enrollment, and favor with their professors for emphatically deciding that this was something worth standing for at all costs. Almost 50 years later, HGC still fosters an environment of learning by commanding its membership to be greater, to have the will to succeed, and most importantly, to offer themselves as a sacrifice to the callings of God. The Howard Gospel Choir has slipped into the hearts of people not only across this great nation, but also around the world, bearing a heartfelt zeal for God. With a fire that bright, the torch is merely passed from generation to generation to uphold the same dream, to know God, who foresaw the importance of this work for years to come, and to make him known by staying faithful to that work despite all adversity, all with a high level of excellence, for this is the HGC way.
Family, thank you for joining us from Personal Theater as we continue our virtual season with Let Freedom Sing. My name is Reginald Golden, and I proudly serve as director of the Howard Gospel Choir of Howard University. Let Freedom Sing is our annual celebration of the African American musical experience. The spirit of this music echoes the complex realities of life in the United States for descendants of the diaspora that produce the resilience that has so long characterized the spirit of the Black American. Hopeful, in spite of opposition and persecution, triumphant in the midst of oppression and injustice. In 1925, writer, civil rights activist, and educator James Weldon Johnson pays tribute to Black ancestral heroes who by divine inspiration channeled grief and faith alike as the unnamed composers of the contents of the Book of American Negro Spirituals, and writes, "O Black and unknown bards of long ago, how came your lips to touch the sacred fire? How, in your darkness, did you come to know the power and beauty of the minstrel's lyre? Who first from midst his bonds lifted his eyes? Who first from out the still watch, lone and long, feeling the ancient faith of prophets rise within his dark-kept soul, burst into song?" And further, what merely living clod, what captive thing could up toward God through all its darkened grope and find within its deadened heart to sing these songs of sorrow, love, and faith and hope? Our despair and faith, sorrow and hope work together to voice good songs, those sung in a strange land by those of us who take heart knowing that we do have trouble, but the God who is overcome is indeed on our side. Yes, the Lord of hosts has promised to help us, all who call on him in truth. So we lift our voices and declare that nothing is impossible with God. And those that know it just takes a little bit of faith to move the mountains that have so long stood before us. We lift our voices and decree that the divided kingdom of this world is becoming one unified world under the authority of the true and living God. We lift our voices and sing of this God, this loving God whose grace has accompanied us through many dangers, toils, and snares, and promised us to gracefully lead us home. We humbly invite you to share this content with your friends and family across your social media platforms. You are in for a treat full of faith, music, and more. Again, I'm Reginald Golden, and on behalf of the Howard Gospel Choir, I sincerely thank you for tuning in to Let Freedom Sing. Be blessed and be a blessing.
But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith, we trust. For while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption. We feared it at its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it, we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be. A country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens. But one thing is certain, if we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change, our children's birthright.
Listen, and regardless of where you are, no matter your race, your background, your nationality, or your mother tongue, it's important for everyone to remain encouraged. And so we've been so fortunate and so blessed these past few days to be in relationship, to be able to collaborate with our friends, the Voices of Virtue. Can you give them a wonderful round of applause as they join us for these next few songs? Come on, that would be all right for us, but you're celebrating your own. Let's hear it for the Voices. Of Virtue. Come on, let's keep it going.
Heaven help the child who hasn't got a home. Heaven help the girl who walks the streets alone. Heaven help the roses if the bombs begin to fall. Oh, heaven help us all. Heaven help the black man if he struggles one more day. Heaven help the white man if he turns his back away. Heaven help the man who gives the man who has to crawl. Oh, heaven help us all. Heaven help us all. Oh, heaven help us all. Oh, heaven help us, Lord, hear our call when we call. Heaven help the boy who turned 21. Heaven help the man who gave that boy a gun. Oh, heaven help the people with their backs against the wall. Oh, heaven help us all. Yeah, yeah. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us all. We need you, Lord. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us, Lord. Hear our call when we call. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us, Now I lay me down before I go to sleep. In a troubled world, I pray the Lord to keep, keep hatred from the mighty and the mighty from the strong. Heaven, help us all. Yeah, yeah. Heaven, help us all. Sing, heaven, help us all.
God has wrought many things out of oppression. He has endowed his creatures with the capacity to create. And from this capacity has flowed the sweet songs of sorrow and joy that have allowed man to cope with his environment and many different situations. Jazz speaks for life. The blues tells the story of life's difficulties. And if you think for a moment, you will realize that they take the hardest realities of life and put them into music, only to come out with some new hope or sense of triumph. This is triumphant music. Much of the power of our freedom movement in the United States has come from this music. It has strengthened us with its sweet rhythms when courage began to fail. It has calmed us with its rich harmonies when spirits were down. But in the particular struggle of the Negro in America, there is something akin to the universal struggle of modern man. Everybody has the blues. Everybody longs for meaning. Everybody needs to love and be loved. Everybody needs to clap hands and be happy. Everybody longs for faith.
My name is Kristen Taylor, and I am the Assistant Business Manager of the Howard Gospel Choir of Howard University. Thank you for joining us for the virtual premiere of Let Freedom Sing, our annual concert series presented in part by the ARC. Thank you for every like, every share, every comment, all the chat room love, every email, every time you text the video link to the family group chat. You've helped us to continue to fulfill the mission of the Howard Gospel Choir of Howard University. We also invite you to support our work, support the vision and the legacy of the Howard Gospel Choir of Howard University. It was very important to us to transform our season so that people everywhere could not only access the virtual premieres, but we wanted them to be able to watch them for free. Now we realize that productions of this nature have expenses, but we were not discouraged. For over 50 years, not only has vision and legacy pushed us forward, but we have been led and supported by a wonderful community that has loved us, encouraged us, and sewed into the Howard Gospel Choir of Howard University. So we invite you to make a donation to support the vision and the legacy of the Howard Gospel Choir of Howard University. You can donate using Cash App or PayPal. The information is below. And if you'd like more information about donations or setting up a recurring donation, you can email us at info@howardgospelchoir.com. Again, thank you. We are absolutely thrilled that you could join us in our virtual theater. We love you, we miss the hugs, and we look forward to hosting you again in our virtual theater.
together in perfect harmony, working hard to help each other, people that will love and help from above. I see a place where there is no killing, no fighting, crime or stealing. I see a place where people are respected, a place where love abounds and hope and joy is found. Here's what I pray for. One world, sing for all mankind. One world that we can be proud of.
A world where all is right.
One world is what I dream of. One world where we are not judged. One world,
That treats everyone
a
equal.
world where we can rise above.
Where we can rise above.
Even though problems may come our way, even though we can't see a brighter day, we must lift up our head and realize God is on our side. Even though people are treated wrong, even though racism is strong, just stop and imagine what this world would be if we all believe. Yeah. God made the way. Come on, you gotta believe. Believe that things will get better and that He will make a way. He's never failed us yet, y'all. And He will bring about a change. Come on. Here's what I pray for. One world, free for all mankind. That we can be proud of. One world is what I dream of. One world where we are not judged. I want one world, hey, a world where we can rise above, y'all. Come on, HGC, say yes we can, and yes we will. Come on, no matter what we go through, say yes we can, and yes we will. Come on, we'll always rise above. With God on our side, everybody say yes we can, and yes we will. We will rise above. Yeah. Yes we can, yes we will. We'll rise above. Yeah, rise above, rise above, rise above, oh, rise above, rise above, rise above, rise above, oh, rise above.
Dream with ambition.
Lead with conviction.
And see yourself in a way
That others might not see you.
Simply because they've never seen it before.
And we will applaud you.
Every step of the way.
the substance of things hoped for. And the evidence of things that I see. Without faith, it is impossible to be pleasing to the King. Know that it takes faith, mustard seed faith. Oh, just your faith. Oh, it takes faith to conquer anything. Don't let your eyes deceive you from what may not be there. Just hold on to the promise. This pain you've got to bear. There's glory at your next level, so don't give in the fight. This pressure makes you better. All things will be alright. No, because it takes faith. The size of a mustard seed. Oh, it takes faith to conquer. Everybody clap those hands. Hey, if you believe God, put your hands on it. Yeah. Come on, sing it with me. It takes faith. Hey, faith. Who faith? Faith. A little bit of faith. It takes faith. Oh, faith. Who faith? Just a little bit. Come on. Put your hands on it. Yeah. Hey, if you believe that it just takes a little faith, come on, sing it with us. It takes faith. Hey. Oh, faith. Sounds of a mustard seed. Who knows? I gave your hands faith. The faith of my fathers. Right there, don't go nowhere. Just all you need is a little bit. All you got to do is have the faith the size of a mustard seed. Faith without work is dead, so you gotta activate what you got. Stay right there, don't go. Stay right there, don't go. Stay right there, don't go. Stay right there. Stay right there, don't go. Stay right there, don't go. Reach way down inside and activate your faith. Hey, hey, put your hands on it. Hey.
The first chapter of the book of James reminds us of God's faithfulness. It says that every good and perfect gift comes from above, from the Father who created the heavens and the earth, who doesn't change. So whenever I'm in doubt, I remember that the Lord is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Lord, unto me. All that I need, your hands provide. All that I need, your hands provide. Wherever you are, I want you to think of God's faithfulness. I want you to be reminded that He promised He would never leave you, He would never forsake you, and He hasn't done it yet. Lord, unto me. every morning, God, you promised that you would see about us. Lord, unto me. Come on, stand and sing with us. All that I need, your right hand has provided. For if I ask, and if I pray, and if I stand and believe in faith, I don't have to worry, and I don't have to fret, because my God hasn't failed me yet. No matter what I need, when I needed something, you are faithful to provide. Just like you did it for Abraham. Great is your faithfulness, and great is your love. What you said, you will do, and I can put all my trust in you. And you're faithful. You're faithful to save, God, and you're faithful to heal. You're faithful to love, and you're faithful to provide. Every day of my life, you're great, great and mighty. Oh, great. Yeah. Come on, wherever you are, I want you to put your hands together. I want you to remind yourself that God has been good to you. See, the enemy will want you to think that everything around you is going wrong. But when you spend your time concentrating on everything that's messed up, then you forget about the blessing that you experience every day. Ladies, sing it. God, God, I'm a witness that every morning you see about me. Come on, sing it. Come on, right there. Just sing it. Remind yourself, you